Oh, hi, how's it going? So this is my vlog for the 28th of September, March of 2023, and it's like Tuesday, Wednesday? Yeah, it's Wednesday. And it's like 8:30 in the morning. I've been working for the last 15 or so minutes. On my timeline, I got to sleep last night at I can't even remember. Maybe like 1:30 or something, I don't know. But then, yeah, so that's cool. I'm diurnalized. I should call my mom pretty soon. I wasn't feeling very good yesterday. Like my back hurt really bad, and I'm kind of a lot of the time I get too many energy drinks. And kind of. Yeah. Yesterday I had 2 energy drinks. I went to the store twice, and then the second time I got a bag of jelly beans, and my back started hurting like really bad. And so I called my mom. I'm like, I think I should get a gym membership because like I'm kind of like hitting the wall, like muscle atrophy all over my body. You know, like my back, side, shoulder, everything all at the same time. It's like really painful because it's only like $200 a year. Last time I checked, like I feel it right now, the atrophy. So I should go in there. Plus, it's a huge gym that's not crowded. And the huge gyms that aren't crowded, it's like, what the hell am I thinking? I need to be hanging out there all the time because pretty soon it won't even be crowded because they're building a big ass apartment building right across the street, like in the same building next to the gym. That are going to be like 500 people are going to move in there, so it'll make the gym more crowded. That'll be probably like a year or something. So, but anyway, I was just super pressured. I'm only doing it because I feel like I have to because I don't feel good. Because I've been making really good progress on the timeline. Adding the icons. I mean, a lot of the what I do is I go to my timeline and I find like a battle or a castle. I've been having more success with battles, but or a cathedral or a leader, and you just copy it and then click in front of it, and then command control or whatever I to bring up an image, paste in the search field, click the button for all of the Mac, wait about couple of seconds, not that long, 2 seconds, 3 seconds, something like that, 3, 4, 5 seconds. And then you get to scroll down and see if it matches a word. Sometimes you have to scroll like a couple hundred, but you can do that. And then you find the image. And there's like multiple images for a lot of things. And the cool thing is, like, I have so many goddamn icons that it's like, and I have everything that ever existed because that's literally what I'm building, a timeline. So I could put a place for every single icon that there are, and there's like multiple icons for one thing. Like a lot of the time, like I got to Medusa, and I was like, oh, I know I have an icon for that. Lo and behold, there were like 5 different icons. There's like 20 icons for Viking, but then, but I only use those if I have to, because I use the image. I convert the image with Photoshop, because you can do that now. Batch edit into a tiny little PNG icon from Wikipedia, so that when you look at an icon of something in history, and that's the same icon that's on the Wikipedia page, it's a really good visualizational memorizational tool to help remember the thing. Because you always look in the Wikipedia page if you're interested in the thing. So, but yeah, I was making good progress. So I just gotta put my head down and just go as hard as I can all month of April. Because that's kind of a lot, that's kind of been my style over the last 6 months. Like, I've been able to go for like a whole month. Like, I was working on Google Earth animals or something for like a month or something. I don't know, but I think I can do this. And besides, it's a freaking timeline. Like, my history timeline is the biggest, well, by far the biggest project on my website. A very obvious second, the second, which is head and shoulders above everything else, is all my Google Earth stuff. But actually, the timeline isn't head and shoulders up if you're going to consider all the Google Earth stuff. Yeah, it's interesting. I should try to calculate what I've spent more time overall on the timeline or the Google Earth, because I honestly don't know. Probably the timeline. More than all my Google Earth together. I spent more time on the timeline. I think I have. Yeah, probably like 50% more. I should do like, I look at my calendar and look at my YouTube videos, because I do it with a title. Read both my personal calendar, didn't keep up with it. Maybe I could figure it out. But, so throwing in a whole month at my timeline, you know, like if I threw an entire month at my timeline, like once a year, like 1 month out of every year is dedicated to the timeline, then I should be able to finish the timeline in 5 years. So like maybe I could finish the timeline if I were to go 100% on it for 5 months. That's probably a good guess. 6 months. If I went 100%, like 18 hours a day, 7 days a week, for the next 5 months, 6 months, I could probably finish the timeline. But the problem is I can't. I have other things going on my website. I'll get distracted. There's no way I'll be able to do that. But, yeah, honestly, I probably have about 5 years left. Well, maybe not that long. 3 years. But, anyway, one thing that's driving me is and the thing that, like, because it's so much work, but I can't get to the next level of my timeline until I get these images on. It's imperative that I get the images on. And the next level is the thing that I'm just like, oh my fucking God, what the hell am I building? I think I'm literally building a tool that can create omniscience for society. Because, let me explain really quickly my timeline. Because I have all these different sections, and they all have different like fonts and borders, and so they're distinct. I'm kind of getting a little bit of a brain fart now. I got really high before I did the video, but so they all have different colors and everything, and so I just do it all by icon. Other than the king, I do everything by icon. And I don't know if I fully, because it's been a while since I've worked on the timeline, I don't know if I fully was deciding on doing it like that, or I don't think I really was thinking about it that much, because I didn't have the icons, and now I have everything. Okay, so here's what I'm gonna do. So like, on the horizontal part of your timeline, of my timeline, like I have it developed, like divided into countries, modern day countries. That's why it pisses me off that fucking Vladimir Putin is taking over Ukraine because, and it pissed me off when he took over, big time when he took over Crimea, because it fucks up my timeline. My timeline is dependent on the countries, and if people are switching around countries, like, I don't want to switch around my timeline. I'll build my timeline once and then you leave the countries. Because if Putin takes over Ukraine, well, what does that mean? I have to take away a Ukraine on my timeline? Fuck no, I'm not going to do that. Kick those fucking Russians out of Ukraine so we don't have to change my timeline. But God damn it, what was I saying? Oh yeah. So it's all in like a country, and the country gets its own color, you know. So say it's the 7th country, and I do it from northwest to east to southeast. So if it's the 7th country, looking from northwest to southeast, then I don't do it alphabetically. It's all by where it's placed on the map. And I do it the same way with the timeline also, but or not, well, sort yeah. So you know, yeah, and differently, but yeah. So and so that would be like a light blue background, and so on the bottom is the kings. So the kings are inside of their different dynasties, and so you would have the name of the king, and then above the king is the icon of that king, and that's the only thing that actually has a word next to it. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think maybe I will take the words away, but anyway, above it with a different background, like red background for battles, because red is blood, and so like you get a 20 pixel area for an image per decade, so you can have 50 of those go across the whole page because it's 500 pages, and so it's the icon. So, and if you click on it, it takes you down to the vertical part of the timeline. And then if you click on that icon again on the vertical part of the timeline, it takes you back up to the horizontal part of the timeline. And if you're on the vertical part of the timeline, there's another icon for that behind the name, and that's the one that you can download. It's Google Earth. But so then you would have 50 icons that go across, placed, you know, exactly each icon in the location of its decade. So you would get one battle per decade that you can choose from in a country. And so even if in a modern day country, so even if that modern day country has like 5 kingdoms in it, you have to choose only one battle in that decade from all 5 of those kingdoms. It's all thrown into the same bucket. And then you would identify it with the icon that you get from Wikipedia, you know. And if you don't have it from Wikipedia, you would get it from something having to do with the battle, or like an icon that I have or something. And so, you know, that's has a red background, but then you could even do the border around it to show what kind of a battle it is, so that you get clues not just from the image, from the icon, and you know, not also being a clue that it's a battle because it's on top of red, and then it's the first one above the king because you have them in the same order. But also and I haven't actually tried it yet because I don't think it'll push it out too far. I need to try it. But if it does push it out too far, I don't know, maybe I'll be all crazy and make the icon a little bit smaller. But I don't want to go smaller than 20 pixels. So we'll check, we'll try it. But so then that would is another identifier, which is really cool. But so then on top of that, you do it for famous people, like scholars or whatever. And if you don't, you can't fill it up, that's fine. You just leave it blank. And then above that would be castles, and then above that kingdoms. I mean, cathedrals, and each of the backgrounds a different color, so you know which one it is just based on the color and the order. And then you have another one, books about it. And then you have another one above it. I'm going to do generations also. Like Strauss and how I was like Strauss and how they do their generations since like the Arthurian generation in the 1460s or something until now. And it's like, why did they stop there? Why didn't they do that throughout history? Because that is so like that gives you such a fascinating way to interpret history. Like, I want to build one for ancient Greece because so many different fascinating changes happened, and Rome. That if you build icons for it, I mean, generations for it, like, wow, that'd be amazing to look at. And so, yeah, I want to do that. Like, I'm listening to the Peloponnesian War right now while I'm working. And before it was really like, it was a little bit, when I was doing the monarchs, it was like really hard for me to concentrate on the book because and the other videos of the Peloponnesian War I was watching because brain fart. It was hard for me to do that because I had to like, I couldn't find the monarchs from copying the monarch and then the name for all of them, whatever. So I was doing it in reverse. So I was having to find them on the timeline in it. So I had to use too much of my brain. But now that I'm just doing this cut and paste thing, and if the icon's not there, I just put MI for missing or NT for didn't convert. And because it's like just in JPEG. And so, because you want it to be in PNG anyway, even if it doesn't take the background away, because it's crispier when it's smaller than a JPEG. But anyway, oh no, I'm fucking losing my train of thought. So yeah, so on top of the king and the castle is we had the generations. Yeah, and so there's just stacked up, and each one has an icon, right? So if you do the because I have this thing where you click and you can narrow it in, and then when you narrow it in, it even shows you a timeline of all these different things that come out to help you visualize. It's really cool, forward and backward. So then you cover it over, and you do like this to cover like a person's lifetime, like 100 years, with the event you're studying right in the smack dab in the middle. So the person's 50 years old, and so they're halfway through their life, and so that's like that's like the lifetime that you're studying. And so you see like all these icons, and if you're just studying one decade, you'll just see all these icons stacked up on top of each other with the different backgrounds, so you know what they mean. And so it's the perfect tool to look at history from like an omniscient perspective. If you know what all those icons mean, and there's no reason why you shouldn't, because if you don't, you just click on the icon and it takes you down, reminds you, and then you click it again and it takes you back up. And because these pages are all on one page, and I know my mouth is drying up, that's instantaneous linking. So it's just like, oh right, but on the phone and the computer, but that will give you this perfect image in your head. And then if you do that throughout history, And the cool thing about icons is that when they're all jam-packed in a big page like that, you can see them all at once. You can look at it across the horizontal timeline or even the part above, yeah, the horizontal or vertical, and see how fashion changes, because you're looking at these people move throughout time, and you can see them. You can recognize a person at 20 pixels, and if you double click it, it brings it up anyway, and then you can drag it and move it forward. So it's like a visual timeline. I never really thought of it that way. And so I'm like making sure that every single icon that I use is from the Wikipedia page. It's like from an image of the person, or the yeah, mainly with people. Yeah, and so but you can do with buildings too, you know, like castles change, you know, like there was an era of castles between Rome and then you can see how castles turn into palaces and on the timeline. And so yeah, that's why I now want to look at that. So that's why I'm so pressured to just like dump these icons on the vertical, because they have to be there for me to be able to build horizontal. So what I'm going to do is just try to put an icon in front of every single thing on my timeline, BC and AD, and maybe even the ancient history too. I think I'm going to go ahead and do ancient history, but to do AD and BC, I'll have to work all the way through April. And so if I'm going to do like the ancient history, maybe it'll be another month, and then I'm going to take a break from the whole timeline and go and like add page numbers to my ancient history, to my history books that are on my website, because I really wanted to have that on there, because it makes the listening experience way better, because I know how, because you know, a lot of times you listen to these books, you can only do them in sections because your brain kind of overheats. But if you're going to do it in sections, you want to know how big the sections are, you know. And so yeah, that might be the next thing, but there's lots of things, Google or stuff. So for like a month or two, until like a light bulb goes on in my head and I remember about my timeline, and I'm like, oh my God, that's right. The icons are ready. I could like do the horizontal part of the timeline now, and I'll be fresh and excited, and I'll be like, let's fucking do this. And maybe in one fell swoop, in like 1 month of work, I could just dump on those horizontal timelines across and level up my timeline to, and you know, and not even bother with the links, linking in between the two. Just dump them on there, and then back off again for a couple months and do something else, and then go, oh my God, that's right, and then go back on there and fix the links, and then that's when my timeline will pretty much be done. And it's like, wow, that'll be cool. So yeah, every single day I've been going. That's why it's so annoying that I have to do all this extra stuff, because my mom gave all my goddamn money away. Like, I was at the edge, like I was almost beyond the edge of living way beyond my means, 26,000 in debt, and now they're jacking up the credit card prices, interest rates, and then my mom gives away $4,000 of my money, my personal money, and so $16,000, and so now I'm like, oh shit, now I have to sell like everything, because I can't sell at full price, which means I just have to go and sell fucking everything. So luckily I sold my car for more than I bought it for. So I sold my car for $2,500 yesterday and got the money too. So I had $100 because I was out of money and out of weed. So that was like just in the nick of time. Went and got $100 of weed. Had $100. Oh, that was so crazy. I had $112 exactly, no change, just 112. And I wanted to get like a half ounce. I get like, I think it's top tier sativa. And this was exactly $112.00. Isn't that crazy? So now I'm back in business with the weed. And so next Tuesday I have the radio taken out. I have to pay $418 to get it out. And then I'm going to sell that. Hopefully the people at Car Toys will help me, give me good advice on how to sell it. I don't know, hopefully somebody around here. Luckily, like every other car in Boulder is a Subaru hatchback. So, I'll hopefully I can find somebody pretty easily who will be willing, will see the great deal that they'll be getting and, buy it for their car, and then but I think I'm gonna have to sell my time trial bike also. So, but I'm not gonna do all that at once. You sell it, reevaluate, sell it, reevaluate. But what I'm gonna have to do is, so next Tuesday, I don't think I wanna sell anything until then. Next Tuesday, get that out and then sell that. And as soon as that sells, and I'll sell it for a good price, just get rid of it. That's when I'll sell the time trial bike. And, and I have a lot of stuff to sell. Like I could still sell my turtle and tegu if I really wanted to. And I could sell my studio. And oh yeah, I have a rowing machine and a swimming machine too that are in perfect shape, and I can sell those. So I'm not worried at all. That's why it fucking pisses me off when my mom is like, "You need a job." It's like, can you please shut the fuck up until after I've sold everything? Use your head, dude. And so I'm telling her she can sell stuff too. So her friend is helping her set up an eBay. She was telling me she has to get a job now because she gave $4,000 of her money away that she doesn't have because she already has all these credit card debts. So a friend's gonna help her set up a eBay, and she's gonna sell all her antiques and stuff. And I set up a fundraiser page on one of those fundraiser sites. I can't remember what's it called. It's not GoFundMe, it's the other one. But somebody gave me $10, so that's cool. I have to go and activate that and get the $10. And then somebody said, God damn it, what's his name? Jerry? I think his name's Jerry. I'll call him Jerry. He comments on, person who comments on more of my videos than anybody else, said he'd give me $100, or he tried to give me $100. So I have to go and get my PayPal fixed, and then be like, "Hey Jerry, the PayPal's fixed," and I'll get $100 of weed. Like that $100, and then I'll show that on YouTube. Be like, "Look, that's Jerry's weed," and of course I'll put it on my website. So yeah, and I need to put that other dude who put the $10, and then this guy named Donovan a couple years ago gave me $20. So I'm gonna put that on. So I could get aggressive with fundraising too. I could just sign up for all those motherfucking fundraising sites. I've been on Patreon forever, and nobody's ever given me anything on that. But see, I understand why. I'm not complaining. Number one, the fucked up thing is that for the longest time I did need the money. I was working. It's why the fuck am I working? Dude, I'm working on the best website in the world. But luckily I don't have to work for the last couple of years, and but I mean, I still need donation. I mean, because that gives me security. I have 3 cavities in my teeth that I can't get fixed. And they said they needed $2,300 for me to clean my teeth. I don't believe them, but I at least need $750 to clean my cavities. I can't do that. So, I could use the money, but I totally understand why I'm everybody, why people would look at my website and not think that it's worth anything, because something has to make sense to somebody, and I can't expect people to just trust me that it's going to make sense, It has to actually make sense now first. And it's just not put together enough. And so, but it's getting there. Like by the end of this year, by the time I have I sell everything and then have a financial crisis, I could probably do a major fundraiser and get some money and get me out of the hole, back into the black, because by then it probably will be recognizable to the more intellectual people, that it'll eventually have some use in society. So yeah, my mom gave me this really annoying email the other day. I'll show it in one of my vlogs, where she's telling me I need to get a job. It was like 4 days ago. But I think she only did that out of stress. She was really stressed. So anyways, oh my God, this is a half hour long. But I was kind of took the time today to explain the logic of the timeline. I was listening to all of these different Peloponnesian War videos, and then I saw this lecture by this dude named, I can't remember his name. Oh man. Acid reflux. Oh, that hurts. Anyway, dude, this motherfucker was good. He was old college professor, but he's good. He's like as good as Donald Kagan. And he's talking about his book, and I'm like, and I was like, ooh, I'll motherfucking pay for that book right now, because he's just dumping all these data. I love it when they do that. Lo and behold, his book is 13 hours long on Audible, and it's free. And I'm like, what? So I got it, and I was listening to that. And so I'm going to listen to that. And the cool thing about the Peloponnesian War is, like, so many people do videos on it. And so not only are you learning about the Peloponnesian War, because you're getting it from all these different perspectives. I love learning it from different people. But you're also learning about people, which I can have a lot to say about the Peloponnesian War, other people's interpretation of it. And so, and I'll know it, when I'm being original, when I say something. So that's really interesting. So yeah, I'll do the video pretty soon, but I think I'll have to do a few of them, It's so hard to memorize everything in the Peloponnesian War, because so much happened over the course of like 27 years. So anyway, that's enough talking. I think I'm going to call my mom and offer to go over there for a walk, see what she's doing, because I'm up. I slept last night. I have to ride my bike. I had to ride my bike to the store 2 times yesterday, after driving my car there for like a week or a couple weeks. And it sucked. I was like, God damn it. But I'll get used to it, and I need the exercise. Like it's going to be better for me in the long run. So anyways, that's enough talking. It was a long video, but I was explaining the website. Yeah. Alrighty, talk to you tomorrow.